Hi guys, welcome to back to my channel. Oh my god, I couldn't even get that out. I just want to preface this. You might be able to tell, you might not be able to tell. It doesn't matter if you can or can't, but I had oral surgery at the end of last week, so my lip is a little weird looking. I have like 7 sutures across the top of my gum, or I guess the middle of my gum, so my lip is still a little funny looking. Pretend like you can't tell. So my smile's a little wonky and whatever. Anyway, we're in a new setting today. I thought it'd be fun to see if I can film in front of my bookshelf. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing this again because I feel like it's so distracting. There are so many colors behind me, but the lighting is nice today and I feel like I never actually show my bookshelves in any of my videos. So this is fun. Today, I'm rambling. Today I'm going to be doing a January wrap up. I read 18 books. I read a lot this month. Apparently my older brother had bought a Kindle a couple years ago and just wasn't using it, and he gave it to me, and it's increased my reading by like double. Like, it's insane. I've read, yeah, a lot this month. So I'm just gonna go through everything. I have most of the physical copies, so I will just show you. And yeah, we're gonna talk about what I read. At the start of the month, I read Mercy by Sarah Kate. I also read Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate, but the physical discreet cover is not going to be released till April. I did pre-order it. These are the 4th and 5th books in the Salicious Players Club series. Oh, these aren't even in order. I think Eyes on Me was my favorite out of those 3. And then I read Mercy, and this one easily became my favorite. Basically, if you don't know anything about this series, it's about like 4 friends who open up a club to kind of welcome people or match people with matching kinks. So this is about the 4th owner, the last owner. She's the only girl, and she is, honestly, this was iconic. I kind of loved it, which was like kind of surprising to me. I didn't know that I was gonna like it. Like, I feel like the other books had tropes that I usually enjoy more, or I don't want to say kinks, but usually I enjoyed those type of books better. But this one was definitely, I think, my favorite. And then Highest Bidder, I liked it, and then when I was like reading reviews, I was like, oh my god, you're so right. Why didn't I think of that? And I think the book itself has times when it's like not problematic, but there's definitely, it has its issues. But honestly, I enjoyed it while I read it, and then I read the reviews and I was like, I fear these reviews have actually changed my mind. Overall, this series is not my favorite series. I'm going to finish it. I only have 1 more book left. Honestly, it's okay. Like, it wasn't anything amazing. Then I read The Fake Mate by Elana Ferguson, and this one, for me, was a bit of a disappointment. Basically, this is Elana Ferguson's sophomore novel, and it is a Wolf Shifter Omegaverse book, but it takes place in a hospital and it's fake dating. But I'm gonna be so honest with you, this whole time, like throughout the whole book, I really just kind of felt like it was like a knockoff The Love Hypothesis. Like, it really feels so much like The Love Hypothesis, and that's kind of what really disappointed me, was because I would read things or there would be scenes and I would be like, oh, this is literally The Love Hypothesis, but not as good as The Love Hypothesis. I love The Love Hypothesis. I give it 5 stars. It was easy for me to say it's not as good because I love The Love Hypothesis. I mean, they're both doctors, which I know The Love Hypothesis is not they're both doctors, but it's in a STEM field and one of them is a doctor, and he is really superior in his field, and he needs a fake girlfriend because some committee is on him, and she needs a fake boyfriend because she lied to someone in her life about having a boyfriend. And it really, there's also so many other scenes where I was just like, this is literally straight out of The Love Hypothesis. So for me, this was really disappointing. I don't know. I don't have much to say. It wasn't bad. I just was like, my heart hurt from it. So then I think after this, I read The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. And this was my first Lucy Foley book. And I think it was my first, I want to say, mystery that's not a thriller. I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I read a lot of YA mystery thriller. But The Hunting Party is just 100% like a murder mystery. It's not really I wouldn't say it's like a thriller at all. There's a murder and you're trying to figure out who the murderer was. And honestly, I thought it was very slow. The beginning, it is very character driven, but you don't really like any of the characters, and I don't know. I thought it was a little too slow paced for me. Nothing really happens until the last 80%. And I think what happened was good. I didn't guess what had happened, so that was kind of crazy. But there's a lot of drama within the friend group, but again, you don't get a lot of this drama until closer to the end. So it wasn't a favorite of mine. I think I ended up giving it 3 stars because I could see, I don't know, it's more of an atmospheric read, which I think for me, if it's an atmospheric read, it depends on the atmosphere. And this takes place at like a snowy lodge, and it just like, for me, wasn't hitting. Then I read The Trade by K.I. Stevens. I was flying home and I saw like a Instagram post about this, and I instantly downloaded it on my Kindle because it was on KU. And I honestly, in the moment, I ate this up. Basically, it is a college football romance. The whole premise why I wanted to read it was the Instagram video was saying something like he has to, the football team takes dates to a banquet and the goal is to switch and take someone else's date home. And basically like Theo is gonna take Jade so he can switch and get with this girl that is her friend that he really likes. Honestly, it was fun and it wasn't bad. I've read some bad sports romance. I ate this up. I think it was like fun. And honestly, I think I really liked Wes. I feel like I remember really liking the MMC. I feel like I need to read my Kindle notes because I'm like panicking. I don't remember too much about it. I just remember eating it up and like enjoying it. Sometimes you just need to have a fun read, I guess. Oh, and it has major third act breakup though, which usually I hate. Actually, I still hated, but it was kind of like made sense. It wasn't like inserted there for no reason. And I feel like Wes groveled a lot, so who cares? Okay, then I read The Ritual. And this honestly, this book threw me into a spiral because here's the thing. I read Haunting Adeline, the cat and mouse duet in December, and then I read this in January, and I was really expecting to like this. I didn't read reviews. I didn't know much about it other than it was a dark romance and college. It was a dark college romance. The description sounded like it could be fun, you know, and this put me through a spiral because this had me thinking maybe I don't like dark romance. I gave this 2 stars, and here's my thing. At the end of my downward spiral, because I feel like I've always enjoyed a dark romance. Like I feel like I love dark romance. Like and then I read the Cat and Mouse duet, and then I read this, and I was like, oh my god, do I not like dark romance? Like what is going on? And I think what I decided, I draw the line at, I don't know if I can say this word, and it feels icky saying it anyway, so I'm just gonna say sexual assault. I think I draw the line at sexual assault fantasy. And I actually have so much to say about this book because, I don't know, I guess that's a real fantasy that people have. So I'm not going to like yuck your yum, like, okay girl, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But to me, if you ignore that part, there's also issues where there's no aftercare, like ever, in any, like I don't think there ever is. And also, like every single scene is either like non-con, physically restrictive, or painful. And I feel like not every smut scene can be like that. Like to me, that is like, how does one live like that? Like how do you live like that? I don't know, maybe there are girls who are built different out there and that is how they are. But to me, this was a little too much. It really felt like overkill, and I'm actually, this like rarely happens. I feel like I always push through the end of the series. I'm DNFing the rest of the series. Like I am not reading it because I found out that like all of the books in the series are fantasy. So I will not be reading these anymore, and that's all I have to say on that book. I really don't want to keep talking about it. So the next couple of books we're going to talk about, I actually read in a 24-hour readathon, which is the video before this. So if you want to see in-depth reactions and me talking about it a little bit more than what I'm going to go through, definitely check out that video. It honestly, personally, I feel like it was one of my best, like editing wise. I felt like really proud of that video. So go watch it anyway. I love the thumbnail of it. It just like, oh, it makes me feel good. Go watch it anyways. But I'm just gonna kind of quickly go over these books so I'm not like talking about it a billion times. But first in that video, I read the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. I think that's like what the overall trilogy is called, but I absolutely loved this. Recently, I kind of like realized that not all YA fantasy or YA dystopian or YA sci-fi hits. Like I recently have read a few where I was like, oh, why isn't this hitting? That's so weird. Like I feel like YA fantasy for me always hits, and I haven't been reading anything. These were so good, honestly. The characters were so good, the storyline was so good, the atmosphere, the setting, like I absolutely loved these 3 books, and I'm glad. They were like 3 of the best books to read during a 24-hour reading challenge because I would have binged them anyway. Really, really liked it, and I already have gotten Throne of the Fallen, which if you didn't know is like the spin-off adult series. I'm so excited to read that, and then there's another one coming out, which is so exciting. But if you didn't know this, it follows Emilia, and she is a witch. She's a twin, and her twin sister Vittoria is found dead one day. It takes place in Sicily, so slay, very fun. And I like the magic building of this universe, which is so cool. So basically when Vittoria turns up dead, she summons a demon to help her figure out the murder, and she accidentally summons, wait for it, the Prince of Hell, Prince Wrath. I'm in love with that man. And basically they go and solve the murder. And it is honestly so good. I like really didn't predict like any of it. Sometimes YA fantasies can be very copy and paste, but this was really like an adventure I hadn't seen before. It was very cool. I highly recommend, if you're a YA fantasy fan, definitely check out those. I'm so excited to read Throne of the Fallen and the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which is also by Carrie Maniscalco. Whew. So also in that video, I read To Love Jason Thorne, and this was a little disappointing for me. I knew it kind of had bad reviews, but I absolutely loved Marriage for One by Ella Mays, so I had kind of a preconceived notion of like, okay, people don't normally like this, but I've read another book by her that I absolutely loved, and honestly, like, yeah, this one wasn't really all that great. I think it was, the writing was very cheesy, very immature. The like plot of it sounds so fun though. Basically, Olive has a crush on Jason when growing up as a kid, and he like breaks her heart like by saying like she's annoying, but like he doesn't realize he's saying it to her, whatever. Then he moves away and she's like distraught, whatever. And then so she like kind of grows to hate him because he was his first love. And then basically she writes a book, and I think it is supposed to be based off Jason. I don't know. Basically he's a famous actor, so she writes a book. It's getting a screen adaptation, and Jason is cast to play the main character, whatever. I'm so sorry, I'm explaining this horribly. And then he has like bad publicity, so he needs to get married. So it's marriage of convenience, and honestly, like you could cut that part out. The other part is actually so interesting. Imagine that, like you write a book about your first love, and then it's getting a movie adaptation, and then he's gonna play the main character. Like, that's kind of crazy, and it sounded really fun, and I was so excited, and honestly, it was just okay. So, I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, but I did not enjoy it, and I was really upset because I love Marriage for One. Then the last 2 books I read in that video were the Vancouver Storm series. I keep on wanting to say Vancouver Vipers, don't know why, but is Behind the Net and The Fake Out, and I ate these up. These were, like, this was 4 stars, and I think this was like 4.5 stars. It is a hockey romance. It is NHL. Oh my god, it was so good. I feel like this one is often on TikTok and Instagram because basically they knew each other in high school, and she had a crush on him in high school, but she like thinks he doesn't know him, and it's like years later, he's a famous NHL player, and she gets a job as his assistant because she needs a job, and she's like, oh, I don't think he knows me, and then like the first line of his first chapter is like, Pippa freaking Hartley is in my apartment right now, and it's like, oh, it's so exciting. Like they had crushes on each other, but they like thought the other didn't know them in high school, and oh, it was so cute. And then this one is like, he was also in the high school, and she was his tutor in high school, and then they have to fake date because her ex comes back in the picture, and this man, Rory, what is it with Rorys and sports hockey teams? Because isn't there a Rory in the Mile High? There's either Rory in Mile High or Rory in Playing for Keeps series. There's a Rory in one of them that is an icon, and everyone is feral for his book. I feel like it's Liz Tom Ford series. But this man, oh my god, I love this man. So, like I said, since I got my Kindle, I have just been reading like crazy. Guys, okay, I read this series in like 5 days. And for any of my friends watching, you remember me talking about this, that this Kindle was the death of me, and this Mafia series, it is Mafia, yes, was so entertaining that I just was eating it up so darn quickly that I read it so fast. It was like 5 books in 5 days. These look larger in person. I don't know if they're actually like, I read the Kingmakers series, and these are so freaking heavy. Like, look at how, so I don't know if me saying I read, like, these are friggin' heavy. This is like almost 500, this is like 500 pages. I don't want to talk about it. Long story short, if me saying that I ate these up in 5 days is not strong enough for you, I don't know what else to say. I think that Sophie Lark's writing, now I haven't read her newer standalones, Manx or Grimstone or Anastasia, but I think in terms of, look at, I have Sophie right behind me. So this is Brutal Birthright. I think this series is her second series. The first one is the like Underworld one. And then I think she wrote The Sinner's Duet before or during writing these. And I genuinely think that like there's a huge improvement in these. Like I thought these were all okay. I ate up The Sinner's Duet and I ate up these Mafia books. If you have not heard of these, this is a second gen series, so it's the second gen of these. Basically, the Mafia all over the world send their kids to a freaking university. It's, well, first off, Sophie Lark actually markets it as a Mafia Hogwarts. Listen, guys. They're so entertaining. And literally one of the characters is modeled after Draco Malfoy. Like, shut up. A bad boy with a good redemption arc. She literally said she wrote Dean because she wanted to give Draco a good redemption arc. I literally can't. I'm trying to remember if they're like good at all. Oh my God, the other part that's kind of crazy about the series, the fourth book is called The Spy, right? And you don't know who it is because the back or the description and the back of the book, it literally just says The Spy, doesn't use a name at all. And then the start of the book, literally his chapters are called The Spy. Isn't that crazy? And I was on TikTok and you know what? I gotta bless some of the girls on TikTok because when they were like, I saw a video that was like ranking couples and Miss Girl was ranking The Spy and his girl. And you know what? I have to give her such props for that, for not spoiling that for me because that is so exciting. Because there's two shady people the whole series. Someone who's sneaking around and then there's someone who like, you're like, what? And so it's like, you don't necessarily know which one's which. You don't necessarily know which one is the spy. So that's so exciting. I could not put them down. It was so entertaining. The last official book I read in January was Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. I think this one is my favorite of the series. It is Red Zone Rivals, I think is what it's called. And I have read Fair Catch, Blindside, and I've not read Quarterback Sneak yet because I read Blindside, thought it was okay, or it was pretty good. It was like fun, it wasn't like anything crazy. And then I read Fair Catch and I really didn't care for it. I think you can tell by how like short it is, it was a little rushed. And then Quarterback Sneak is a coach's daughter, which is not always my favorite trope. I kind of like don't love forbidden romance in that because it's like, it's not like really forbidden. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is, but it's like, it's just like kind of like an elephant in the room that I don't love. And so I haven't read it yet. Honestly, reading them out of order really doesn't matter. And I think so far it was my favorite. I liked the kind of basis of it. Basically the FMC met the MMC online and he was a popular jock in high school and she was like an outcast. And they become best friends over summer and like she kind of falls in love with him and then she tries to approach him at school and tell her who she is and he like is like uncomfortable and like don't talk to me and laughs because he's in front of like the whole football team. Which, side note girl, why would you approach him literally when he like, wait till he's out of the locker rooms and alone. Like why would you approach him leaving the field with all his friends? To me that was like a little bit of a plot hole. Like Miss Girl would, like no girl would have ever done that. Anyways, and so then basically she blocks him on everything and then years later he's in his senior year of college and she moves into the house across from him and her house, I think they must have a lot of interaction in Quarterback Sneak, which is like a little like kind of annoying that I missed all of that because at the start of this book her house is flooded and she has to move into his house for the summer and he's like really nice about it, whatever. And yeah, I need a break after that. Give me a sec. Sometimes I talk for so long, I forget where I started. That is what it's about. And to me, that was interesting. I thought it was pretty good. They have a third act breakup. I don't know if I said this. The whole series is not the best writing, but that's like one of those things where like, I'm not gonna read 3 out of the 4 sports romance books. Like I'm going to read Quarterback Sneak. I feel like it's totally fair to read like 3-star books. Like for me, that would be a 3-star. Okay, I said that was the last official book. And I'm saying this unofficially, it is still kind of official, but I also read the first book in the Mind series, and I am going to buy the omnibus version where all 5 of them are together, and on Goodreads there's the omnibus version. So I don't know, and it knows that it says 1 through 5. So I don't know if when I hit read, it'll add 5 books to my goal or 1 book to my goal. So right now I'm just kind of treating it as 1 book. I read the first one on my Kindle and it's so fast paced and like it's so easy to fall into. My brain fell such into a deep, long rabbit hole after explaining Hail Mary that like I don't know if I have the energy in me to explain the Mindfuck series, but it is a dark serial killer romance. It's so fun, honestly. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I've already started the second one. So yeah, books that I started in January, but I'm still reading, Children of Fallen Gods, and I am like halfway through. I started reading, and then I'm also 100 pages in to Crescent City 3, House of Flame and Shadow. So that is super exciting. I was thinking about doing a reading vlog for that. I have started filming, but I haven't decided if I'm going to keep filming. So let me know if you guys want to see that. I would be happy to keep filming, but it is definitely like, do you guys want it to be spoiler free, or do you want like full spoilers so we can like read it together? I kind of want to know what you guys would be interested in seeing, because that will like dictate how much footage I end up having in the end, or if I even end up filming the rest of me reading it. So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking below. I hope you guys like this video. Hopefully I'll be able to post more this semester. I said hopefully, so we shall see, but I love every single one of you guys, and I will see y'all when I see y'all. Bye.